Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, wrestling fans went way too far with WWE stars in Paris. Let's talk about this. I'm Andy, and this is the news. So, you've maybe seen some of these clips and photos and various other pieces of media doing the rounds over the weekend, but ahead of Clash in Paris, there were unfortunately seemingly quite a large number of incidents. I mean, I've got 2 or 3 to go over here, of wrestlers walking around in public and or just walking a short distance from a building to a car and being totally mobbed, totally swarmed by wrestling fans, violating personal space, just common decency, things like that. But there's also a safety issue here because that's lots and lots of people swarming on you at once in a public place. It must be very, very intimidating. Regardless of your profession, regardless of whether or not you're some jacked professional wrestler, yeah, if there's 20 people right up in your face, that's not going to be a fun situation. So obviously, WWE in Paris for Clash in Paris. Where else would they be for Clash in Paris? Big show at La Défense Arena last night. Pretty successful show across the board, but this stuff obviously is very unsavory and has the potential to get uglier. So I think the clip that got the most traction or was the most visible was one of Rhea Ripley. It's quite short, but she's walking towards an Uber, a car. There's people on either side of her, groups of fans, people trying to take selfies, stopping, all of that stuff. She kind of gradually walks around to this car and she's just swarmed. One person appears to stand against the passenger door, which prevents her from getting in. There's another guy who's basically got his head on her shoulder, which is insane. Loads of people leaning in, trying to take selfies, mobbing her, completely swarming her. They're going insane, basically. This is not healthy human behavior, this. Rhea tweeted about this. She said, "Remember, we are people. Do not swarm me or anybody like a pack of rabid zombies. Nobody should ever be pushed up against an Uber driver's door and completely mobbed like I just experienced. Use common courtesy and humanity. No means no. What the F?" So presumably she said, "No, guys, I'm on the move here. Leave me be." And people have just swarmed regardless. This incident follows CM Punk posting on Instagram, "Stop touching strangers, please." No word on whether or not that was an incident with him or with somebody else that he's referring to. But yeah, I mean, come on, it's pretty insane that somebody has to even say that when people are out in public. It's crazy. There's another video as well. Sheamus absolutely swarmed. It looks like this one looks like a mosh pit. The people are climbing over each other to try and get at Sheamus. It looks like he's just trying to take a selfie with a young fan who he has to kind of shield and take through this mob of people. And he's telling people to relax and calm down. He's getting quite agitated, understandably so. And this is Sheamus. Guy's 6'6", built like a truck. Come on, that stuff doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that this guy's a big jacked wrestler. You can't be mobbing people like this in public. It's crazy stuff. Now, the first question that popped into my head watching this was, the first thing was safety, obviously. But how do you ensure such safety when people are going around in public? How do you safeguard against these things? To me, there should be a security person going around, at least 1 or 2, going around with the wrestlers while they're in public. And it's a shame we've come to that. But it looks like we have to, right? If this is how people are going to behave when they're out and about. Fortunately, footage emerged later on of Roxanne Perez flanked by 2 or 3 security guards in public. And unsurprisingly, nobody came anywhere near her in the short clip that was posted there. So looks like, pure speculation, but if you want to put 2 and 2 together, you'd imagine that they've looked at these earlier incidents and gone, okay, we need this. And it's a shame that Rhea Ripley and Sheamus and God knows whoever else had to experience these things to get to that point, but we did get to that point, which is the main thing. Now, look, this stuff is really dangerous and it escalates. Look, we've seen countless incidents over the past couple of years, really scary incidents between fans just not respecting the boundaries. And look, there is a big difference between somebody trying to take a selfie from a meter away, maybe not the people who are right up on Rhea Ripley, but there's a difference between, hassling someone in the airport, going, "Oh, can I get an autograph?" when someone's clearly tired and passing through and whatever else. And some of the crimes that have been committed over the past years, including things like the Sonya Deville home invasion, which was absolutely terrifying. Mandy Rose was in the house as well. Shocking stuff. Roxanne Perez had some issues earlier this year. I believe an account doxed her, and there was like a pretty brutal Twitter account dedicated to that sort of stuff. Somebody broke into Liv Morgan's home earlier this year while she was away, and Alexa Bliss has spoken about previous interactions. Rhea Ripley in the past has said, "Stop sending mail to my house." I mean, it's pretty scary that somebody's able to get hold of a celebrity's home address so easily in the first place. But yeah, that stuff should go really go without saying. Now, there's a video on YouTube that gets recommended quite frequently as well of paparazzi harassing Rhea Ripley and Kevin Owens checking in on her. Kevin Owens actually had some comments about this kind of stuff with Chris Van Vliet not so long ago. He said, "We get to an airport and it's 5 or 6 people, okay, but nowadays we get there and there are 40 to 50 people. Sometimes it feels like they get around, you can't move. It's overwhelming for me, and I know I've seen it done to the girls." He continued, "Some girls have told me like it almost gets scary, and I know nobody comes to the airport is setting out to do that. They just want an autograph, and whether or not they're going to sell it or not, whatever. They're not trying to crowd somebody and make them feel like, hey, this is too much, but when there's 40 of you, that's what happens." Yeah, so like the intent of the average autograph or selfie hunter in Paris is probably not to scare people. But yeah, when there's a big massive group and they're right on top of you. I mean, the Rhea Ripley stuff is completely unhinged. The guy's just leaning over her, trying to take selfies and stuff, and she's politely said no, presumably, going by her tweet. And the boundary just is not respected there. Look, there are organised meet and greets for this kind of thing. If you want to interact with a wrestler in a formal setting and have a nice little chat with them, get an autograph, get a photograph, buy a ticket to a meet and greet. Now, look, I understand that some were cancelled for Clash in Paris, but that's no excuse whatsoever for this kind of behaviour. If you want that kind of experience, it should be done in a formal, controlled and safe setting. Now, I'm glad that in the Roxanne Perez clip, we saw security walking around with her. That's probably got to be the norm from now on. I mean, it should have been before this, obviously, but hindsight is 2020, and you don't necessarily know that things are going to be this bad until they actually happen. It just sucks that it's happened several times now to people like Rhea Ripley. It's increasingly clear that people don't respect boundaries, and people don't respect things like privacy and personal space. Just because these people live in the public eye and they're on your television every day or every week or whatever, it doesn't mean that you're entitled to invade their privacy and violate that. You're not entitled to their time when they're in public. You're entitled to their time when they're on television and you're watching them from afar. You're entitled to their time when you buy tickets to a meet and greet and you have a photo opportunity and you can say hello, hey, big fan, shake hands, big smile, photo, on you go. You're not entitled to their personal space, and you're not entitled to their free time when they're moving around the city trying to get from A to B, all of that stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty brutal. I think we can all agree that this is really unacceptable behaviour socially, and it needs to be stopped. It really does need to be stopped. I think that it's pretty important to call this stuff out if you have a platform, as we do here, which is why we're making a video on it this morning. We will have another video coming up later on with some more creative stuff coming out of Clash in Paris. And of course, Simon Miller will be here with ups and downs as well. But yeah, this isn't cool. This isn't cool. It's dangerous. It's completely disrespectful, and it needs to be stamped out. This cult of celebrity is utterly poisonous. You have to respect people's boundaries, and when they say no, that means no, and you should respect that and back off. But yeah, I've been Andy. Back with more videos later today. Whole lineup of content coming for you today. If you want to watch something a little bit lighter, check out some of the most brutal wrestling ribs that played out on television. Actually, no, let's do something else. Let's do fascinating facts from the 80s. Complete palate cleanse. Let's just get the hell out of here. And we'll be back with some stuff on Roman Reigns, Becky Lynch, Seth Rollins, and AJ Lee as well this afternoon. Bye.